Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pod Stallions. I am Brian, and with me to my left is my good friend Jason. How are you?
Hello, sir. I'm all right. Happy New Year to you. Happy 24.
Happy New Year. Happy 2024. We live in the future.
We made it.
Yeah. I had a funny epiphany today about the future in that I was throwing out a pair of really mangled gym pants I have, and I realized I bought those in the year 2000. You know, and pants from the year 2000 still sounds futuristic to me.
It does. It's funny how that hasn't really gone away, has it?
Yeah.
In the year 2000. What was I watching the other night that I was? Oh man, now I'm trying to think of. Well, it was a sci-fi-ish kind of thing, and it was saying when the blah blah war happened in 2039, and it went back a ways. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, oof, wow, that gave me a chill. 2000 still sounds pretty high tech.
And it's also kept timely by enduring classics like Blues Brothers 2000.
Right.
Yes.
Heavy metal. Was it Heavy Metal 2000? Was there a Heavy Metal 2000?
I thought it was. Was it called Heavy Metal FAKK?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I have never seen it. It did not look to have anything to do with. Oh, you're right. It was called Heavy Metal 2000.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
No reason for me to know that.
Hey, it had Billy Idol in it, sir.
Right, and that once his scenes were done, I went, okay, I'm done. It's not going to get any better. I'm going to turn it off now.
Yeah, I forgot this existed.
Yeah. What's her name? Julie Strain?
Yeah. Who was married, I think, to the Turtles creator, one of the co-creators there.
Yes.
Haim
Saban.
That's right. I think he owns everything but. Does he own the Turtles now?
Oh, I don't know. I was just being silly. Kevin Eastman, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is our. We usually, well, in the 17 years we've been doing the show, we've done these best of our picks toward the end of the year. But this time we thought, no, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it at the beginning of the year and looking backwards a bit, because isn't everyone already nostalgic for 2023? I know I am.
It depends on what part. There are months that could just go to hell forever, but there was a couple that weren't bad.
Yeah, no, I could scratch the last 3 years and just throw it in the garbage, basically. But we thought we'd look backwards a bit, and now keep in mind, listener, we haven't seen everything. We haven't seen every single thing that's come out in 2023. We haven't seen every movie, every TV show, read every comic or book, tried out every workout video. But we're going with the stuff. I may have. We're going with the stuff that we've seen and we've done. And to kick it off, what better way than the thing we talk about almost the most is movies, right? We start with the movie category. Do you want to go first and give me one of yours, and I'll give you one of mine in no order, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go in an order of my last movie will be the best one I saw last year. But other than that,
the first 4 or 5, no order, but you're gonna bring it home strong. Yes. With the best thing you saw last year.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do it all in one go, or do you want to play tennis here? What do you want to do?
Let's play tennis.
Okay. All right. Go.
Okay. I caught this over the Christmas holidays. It's a documentary called Albert Brooks Defending My Life. I've always been something of an admirer of Albert Brooks, but never really followed him, that profusely. So I really enjoyed this look into his life and what motivated him. And I really do think he is one of the great wits out there. So I found it an easy movie to lose 2 hours to, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm dying to see it. There's something weird going on with Max here in the US. It used to be HBO Max, and like we've said before, got a good thing going, might as well piss all over it and change it to make it worse. And ever since the changeover, it's been so choppy. So in other words, I can go to Max and go, okay, let's try Clute. I'll try watching that, and it plays the audio and the signal is scrambled. And then I go, okay, well, let me try this. You can try 3 or 4 in a row that won't play, and then find a newer film that'll play just fine. And then same thing with documentaries or anything else. So that one I can't watch at this point, and I'm not gonna, I'm gonna get crazy about it. But I'm dying to see it because I'm a big fan of his and always have been.
Yeah, the more I read about streaming services these days, the more I want to buy DVDs.
Do you know what? I rewatched a movie last night. Did you ever see a movie called The Illusionist with Edward Norton and Paul Giamatti?
No, I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
It's a good. It came out the same time as the Prestige, and of course the other one got more attention. But it was about a magician, and it's in Vienna and at a certain time and everything. And it's good. But I'm on a real Paul Giamatti kick right now, so he's in it, and I wanted to see it again. And as I was reading about it, I think the movie cost about 30 million or 25 million. This is 2007, 2008. I think it made like 75 million. When it got released on DVD, brought in another $35 million for the studio on DVD. Now, as you know, that's the bread that they could get in and go, oh, well, now we can make a $5 million movie. We're getting more money back, and we'll take more chances making smaller films. And when you start taking that away, you get less creativity from the studios. But I think people are really kind of waking up to it, especially not maybe the studios, but consumers, that it's really hard to find stuff when you're looking for it, and you're better off keeping your stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think the other day I was trying to watch something on Disney Plus that they made for Disney Plus, a documentary series about Marvel called, I think, 616. I can't remember. But one of the episodes was about the evolution of the Toei Japanese Spider-Man show, and I'd forgotten it, so I wanted to rewatch it. It's not there anymore.
Oh, see?
And it's like, I don't think that's cool. I understand this rotating platform of selection, but if you make something for the platform exclusively, it should always be there.
100%. I could not agree more. And they did it with a bunch of shows. There was a show that was on Disney Plus called some long name, I forgot. I think it's based on a young adult book or something about these genius kids and these twin brothers, one kind of for good, one for bad. Tony Hale played both of them. Great show. They did 2 seasons of it. Gone. It's totally gone. Like there's no other way to see it. It's same thing with the Willow show, which I honestly thought was an abomination, but I don't care about Willow anyway, but I sat through it. But all that work, all that writing, all those actors, all that effort, and there's no way to see the Willow show at this point. I just think that's awful.
I'm pretty sure there's ways. I'm pretty sure both my kids could show me in half an hour, but I know what you're saying. You have to really want to find it.
And that's just it. Most people these days kind of go, what was the name of the movie? And then they look it up. And if they can't find it in 5-10 minutes, they're moving on to something else. Like you're missing out on so much because no one's going to do that kind of work, Yeah.
Well, the other day I realized that I don't like, as much as I like post-apocalyptic movies, I couldn't remember the last time I sat down and watched The Road Warrior. And, I didn't own it either. And I got a craving to buy, to rent it. But the only place you could get it was, of course, the one streaming service I don't have. And it was like $5 to rent it. And I was like, I went to the used shop and got a copy for $8 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, you might as well. There's so much stuff that is larger, better known stuff that I'm shocked. I can't think off the top of my head, but I'm shocked are not streaming anywhere. There's a You know, the Star Trek films, for example, the original cast. I have all those. I have all those on DVD, so I can always pull it down. But if you just like, I don't want to get the box set out and do the thing. And there was one night where I feel like watching motion picture right now, and just finding it and hitting play.
Well, did you lie down and let that pass?
And it you know, I went to 5 different platforms. It was like, I swear to God, it was here on this one. Wait, it was on Paramount Plus with all the other Star Treks. Why is it not on Paramount Plus? Eventually, it's now been moved to Max.
HBO Max. Actually, I read that today.
So you go, who can keep track of this stuff? Who can possibly keep track of these things?
And again, Paramount Plus is like supposed to be the Star Trek destination.
Yes, all Paramount.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And it's like, what you mean they took the best stuff, which are the movies that like a people's go-to, especially those first few movies, and took them away. Like, it doesn't make sense. And not that I was crying, but like even the Doctor Who streaming thing, I just realized like I have no access to Jodie Whittaker's.
So you don't have the 2005 to Jodie Whittaker. You don't have that anywhere?
I have 2005 to Capaldi, The End. And I don't know exactly why. If it's still contractually obligated to the broadcast channel, which may be likely. Like it used to be available on, like, for a while all those disappeared, save for the Jodie Whittakers. Then the Jodie Whittakers disappeared. So I don't know. And it's not like I'm tearing up the couch cushions to find it. Like it's fine. I was curious one night. I was like, well, maybe I'll give one of those a shot. And then there was no chance.
Here, it's the classic show is on BritBox. I think including the made-for-TV 50th anniversary movie that Mark Gatiss wrote. The 2005 to Jodie Whittaker is on Max, and then the new show is up on Disney Plus. It's just the new show.
Okay, weird.
So got to do something, but okay. So I'll go with my like I said, in no particular order, but Evil Dead Rise.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I loved it more the second time. I would say they're really doing well with all the Evil Deads. Like I like the remake from, what was it, 10 or 12 years ago? That
was that 10 or 12 years ago?
Wasn't it? Like the one with the female lead?
Oh, I think you're right. Oh, it just makes me feel so damn old.
Maybe less. Yeah. Maybe it was a little less, but they changed the lead to a female lead, and finds the book in a cabin. They're trying to detox her because she's been a drug addict, kind of thing. And it goes freaking hard. Like, it is, it's got that Evil Dead feel of extreme gore with laughter and everything. And then this one, finding the location that they did in a apartment building, just a whole different thing. And they're adding layers to kind of the mythology of the how many books there were and where they went, and it goes really super hard. Like it's really dark and extreme, and I thought it was great. I liked it more the second time, but if you haven't seen it out there, I really recommend it.
So it really does something new with the property.
Yeah, it does something new with yes, with how the book is found, some other information that kind of comes out, like, and you kind of go, oh, but there's still, you realize the deeper you go, they're locking the original films in with the Ash versus Evil Dead, even the remake that was 10 years ago, whatever. Like, it's all connected. Like it's a universe that's kind of connecting, because the way I read it, I think there's 3 books. So Ash found the one, but there's 2 other books, and one of them is in this newest Evil Dead. So yeah, it goes to some new places, and the cast is great. I don't know the woman's name who's the lead, who plays the mom. She's an Australian actress, but amazing, just really good. Yeah,
Oh,
it's about a family, but it, like I say, it goes hard.
You know what else is about a family?
Hmm.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, it is the best family franchise ever made about a family.
It's a family style franchise.
That's right. You can eat all you can eat. Basically.
I've never seen 5 seconds of one of those.
I think I've seen a little more than 5 seconds, but I couldn't.
Well, I just mean, like, other than the occasional trailer, where I'm locked in there and have to watch it, I've never sought any of those out.
It truly is one of those things where when you see the trailer, you go, "Okay, I think I know what's going to happen in this story."
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm good.
Yeah,
but the kids love them. They just
I mean, obviously, it's not for me, but they're not making it to empty theaters.
It's for 9 billion other people that love it. So, okay, so give me your next one. I'm assuming it's not one of the Fast and Furious franchise.
You're correct. Okay. This one kind of took me by surprise. So I'm saying this because the DC movies I think they're kind of coated in cynicism now, because that it's over.
Yeah,
it's going to get rebooted, and for some reason now our brains are like, well, if this isn't building towards something, why would I watch it? Which is sort of weird, like, to be entertained. But Shazam! Fury of the Gods was a movie I wasn't looking forward to. I just thought it was going to suck for some reason, even though I quite enjoyed the first one. And I really, really liked it. It just worked for me. And the stakes were right, and the whole thing just sort of, I was like, hey, this is nice. This is sweet. And I miss that in superhero movies sometimes, is this kind of, superheroes are supposed to be good. And I know that it was probably doomed to fail, especially after the amazing, box office smash Black Adam. But I thought it was significantly better than that, that's for sure, and just as good as the first one.
Well, I think part of the problem is, right out the gate, and it's just the nature of what it is, and you're not making excuses, but there's such a judgment if the thing doesn't work, or doesn't make $300 million or whatever, that it must have been.
Yeah, it must have sucked.
If to me, it's not my bag. I cannot bear the lead actor.
And if you aren't buying what he's selling, stay away.
But having said that, if you dug the first one, there's no reason you shouldn't enjoy the second one, because it has the same vibe.
Yeah.
And it is a gentler sort of superhero film, like a PG superhero thing that we don't have a lot of. So I can't figure out why it didn't, because the first one did so well. It was so big. But yeah, it's like I said, if just the people that loved the first one went out to see it, I think it would have done better. But that's no indication of anyone's enjoyment or how good the movie is. Half the stuff we talk about is, our failures essentially. But but
half the stuff we love are failures. Yeah.
Yeah. But I really do. There's a lot of stuff that came out last year that I'm really scratching my head trying to figure out why it didn't do as well as it. Even Mission Impossible, I cannot figure that out. Like Maverick, everybody was Tom Cruise crazy with Maverick and making $1 billion or whatever, and I just thought, it's a home run, but nobody.
I'm beginning to think we don't have as many blockbusters in us these days. I don't know how to say it otherwise, but I just have this vibe that we'll go to I don't go to the theaters much anymore.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And I love it, but
but it's a weird dichotomy, because we just lived through one of the most extraordinary things that's happened in cinema of late, that really owes a massive debt to social media, obviously, but nobody saw the Barbenheimer thing coming. Like, everyone thought they were going to do well, but nobody could have dreamed that a 3-hour movie about the guy who built the bomb is going to make $1 billion. And
yeah, so, I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah, it's wild. And so it proves that there's, when the right things sort of come along, like, Guardians 3 was big and everything, but just to, and part of it is the cost. Obviously, they lie about what these things cost. They lie about their salaries, the executives. They spend way too much money on stuff, way too long developing, and it gets harder and harder. But still, I was kind of shocked by that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did, again, I go into things going, probably not going to like this, but I'm still going to watch it. And if I'm surprised, then I'll be surprised. But
yeah, but if you can't stand Zachary Levi, yeah, I get that. I mean,
just can't. For me, it was like that there was nobody in the second one that kind of said, listen, the stuff you were doing in the first one, if you could just pull that back just a smidge, like 2 degrees, just bring it back a bit. And instead, he went up to 11.5 with it. And
actually, that I thought it didn't bother me so much in the first one. But in the second one, it's like, this is making less and less sense because the kid is growing up.
Well, that's my biggest hang up. It's not just the performance. It's that the kid is a pretty mature 13-year-old or whatever. He's not, spastic. He's pretty with it. And then suddenly he becomes the man, and it's like he's 5 years old. And that makes me crazy. But I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad that's good, because you liked the first one too. So that's a nice bookend there for you. Well, speaking of it, Oppenheimer. I cannot say enough about this movie. It just saw it in the theater, and for those of you that are wondering, gosh, I wish I'd seen it in the theater. Yeah, maybe, but it's not what you think. Like, it's not the scope of it. I'm saying if your first time seeing it is on your big screen TV or something, you're going to be fine, because it's not that kind of film. It looks gorgeous, it looks amazing, but it is not sweeping vistas and dune sandworms and space battle. It's more the content, and it is. I've watched it 3 times now. I saw it in the theater, and I've watched it twice since, and it just keeps getting better. But I mean, it's scary, it's brilliant. The amount of information that you're getting in that amount of time, it never slows down. It just keeps moving, and you're picking up information as it goes, and it keeps you interested. And the cast is like, I'm trying to think of a movie that had as many familiar faces popping into 2 or 3 scenes at a time, kind of thing. I think the closest is maybe JFK when that came out, because it's, again, a bit of history, front and back of that, the incident itself, and tons of the cast of JFK is just incredible at the time. But I just loved it. I can't wait to see it again. I think it's and it's got my girlfriend Florence Pugh.
Oh, you guys are dating?
Yeah. We tried to keep it quiet, but I figure might as well announce it on Pod Stallions for the 4 people that are listening. They can spread it around.
I'm dating Florence and the Machine.
Oh, wow, and the Machine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a very open concept relationship.
Very broad-minded of you.
It is. It's very mature.
Yeah. So there's 2 for me. What's your next one?
Well, this one's going to be kind of not as heavy as Oppenheimer, which I have not seen. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I cannot believe how these films came out. Like, bang, 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 equal. I can't think of a film franchise that's pulled this off this well.
For a trilogy, I was saying the same thing the other day. The only thing I can think of, no disrespect to Return of the Jedi, but I think the general consensus is that it's not the first 2. Doesn't have the same level of. The only thing I can think of is Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, actually, that's level. The only one that comes to mind where, but that almost doesn't feel right because they were filmed consecutively.
Right.
So it's like, that's just one big long movie.
They had the advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, in terms of sequel, especially sequels heavy with comedy, like movies heavy with comedy, they tend to repeat the same story beats. Look at the Austin Powers, or if you can stomach it, Anchorman 2. But these guys, they managed to even replicate those fun story beats in ways that are just completely different. And I just loved the look of it, the color, the design.
Soundtrack.
The soundtrack. This one was probably my least favorite soundtrack because I wasn't humming anything out of it. Except
for so many great.
For the Dog Days That Are Over by Florence and the Machine. Now that I think of it.
See, there you go.
Yes,
he pulled off the impossible, because that's on my list as well. That's on my list of best of the year.
Okay, yeah. No, I think this is getting more praise than it should because it just stayed as. It's not the best one, but it's just one of the three. And I mean that in a nice way, in that I don't have a favorite.
I gotta say, because the first one was so fresh, it's hard to. It really did some. I'd probably put it number one.
Yeah, I would too.
I would put this
I was in a dark place when I saw it, and it really, really helped. But
I would put this right next to it, like this, and the second one is wonderful. But I do think the first two, and I mean the first and the third. I mean, the thing that killed me about it was, again, I love it when it's one thing to have a script or a story that's too busy, that you kind of go, whoa, okay, it's too much. Not everybody. Like when I see, the old, West Wing walk and talk thing. I never liked that show. I don't like so much. So it was another show that someone recommended. I was like, nobody talks like this. I know it's television, but not everybody's a quip machine. Not everybody has the same level of,
Oh yeah, that's what my wife's been watching lots of Modern Family lately.
Yeah.
And towards the end of that show, it's like, oh my God, the parking garage person is witty. Like, everybody is a Rhodes Scholar.
I'll tell you what I think is a victim of it too, even though it's a great show and I know you love it and everybody in it is great. But 30 Rock is like, and I almost think they're doing it to such a degree that it's a piss take.
Well, I find it absurdist though. They're all.
Yeah, I think it is, but when you don't let a joke breathe, when it's just like because you're fitting in 40 extra jokes in a shorter amount of time or whatever. But my point is with Guardians 3, there's quippiness, but they're completely different characters. Nobody is on the same level of energy of smart ass comments. Like, the new Gamora, like the way that was the way that played out with Star-Lord and the energy of it, and my God, the emotion of this movie. Like, I can't, when I watch it again, I have to fast forward through the stuff with the animals. Like, I can't believe he was
That's
even
why
allowed.
We didn't see it in the theater.
That's why I didn't see it in the theater. That's exactly why I didn't see it. I thought, I'm not going to be, I got a feeling something bad's going to happen here, and I cannot be there.
My wife refused to go.
Can't do it. But it was so emotional and so smart, and some just laugh out loud, like, open the fucking door, that unlock the fucking door, it's incredible. And he achieved the impossible. It is so hard to find 3 movies that have the same energy and same quality, if not better. It's incredible. And it is a trilogy to me. It's, the Infinity War and Endgame are in there too, because Infinity War is hugely important for the Guardians. But it's an incredible thing he did. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the other thing is, you keep saying it's a trilogy. I 100% agree, because at the end they showcased the new the new the Guardians team up, and I was like, can't wait to never see that. Like it doesn't matter. It's just not something I want to watch, and I find that is really where we're going with the whole genre a little bit. Is that they did amazing stuff, and now they've created this vacuum, and what they've built to fill the vacuum,
listen, we'll do a whole episode about the MCU, and you can't. I mean, nobody.
Do you want to at this point?
We can't expect the level of what they achieved in 10 years to just keep going for infinity. It was bound to take different turns. But part of what there's so many different ways. I think this. Listen, if they announced, I don't know. Pick a genre sort of writer director, or pick someone and said that a B or C level character was coming back and it was going to get this. I think people would come out for it. It's just they're not hitting the buttons to get people excited. And I think I look at something like Aquaman. Aquaman? No, sorry, because they all kind of seem the same to me. Not the Aquaman, which I haven't seen. The Wakanda one.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that either.
When they announced Namor, I just go, yeah. Oh, about time. In fact, Jason Momoa should have been Namor. That dude is Namor. The eyes, the eyebrows. He should have been Namor, but we went with this, going to a keg. Come on, I like to drink. I'm going in the water. F you guys. We had to go with that version of Aquaman. But then when
the version no one's familiar with.
Yeah, and then they keep putting Patrick Wilson in as the blonde, gorgeous, tanned, toned guy that looks like Aquaman just to kind of rub your face in it. I don't get it. But Namor, you just go, and then suddenly you get they show you the Namor, and you go, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? Why are you doing? It just and it hurt.
Where I see Namor a lot? Toys R Us.
No, really? just sitting on the pegs.
Sitting on them pegs. And you know what? I was a little. I didn't see Wakanda Forever, so I can't comment on it. But the marketing was very strange, and it's a heartbreaking situation that such a man that was destined for real greatness and longevity as a film star and a franchise got cut so short.
I can't think of a guy in recent memory that was as diverse as what he did. Jackie Robinson, James Brown. If you haven't seen the James Brown film with him,
I haven't. Yeah.
It is incredible just how much he sort of is James Brown. It's heartbreaking. So I didn't see it in the theater because it was too hard. And even when I did finally see it, the opening, it's just gut wrenching,
and it just I just wasn't sure what it was about, if they even had. I don't know.
I'm just saying I think the problem is all the A-listers are gone. That petered out. Guardians 3 shows there's life in the MCU and Marvel movies. Absolutely. You've got familiar characters. You got James Gunn. The movie made $1 billion. So the problem is a combination of less interesting characters. And unless you start to embrace more of, the books or what they kind of look like, or to give you something to get excited about. Like so many people saying, I saw the trailer for the Immortals and then the Marvels, and it's I can't tell the movies apart. It's just everybody's kind of nondescript outfits and everything. They got to find a way to sort of get in. But we'll get to that because there's stuff coming up in our TV lists that will. Okay. Yeah. So I'll go with my next one. And some of these are not genre people, but deal with it. The Holdovers. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is so wonderful. It's the kind of movie they just don't make anymore. It even it takes place in 1970, but even the way Alexander Payne shot it, it feels like it's kind of got that washed out kind of look to to the color of it, maybe some skips in the film kind of thing. Great soundtrack. But it's just, Paul Giamatti at his best. I think he is just one of the greatest actors of the last 25 years. Everything he does, I think he's great in, from silly to serious. And he's just incredible in this movie. Like every nuance of the character, everything he does, from the way he walks to, the crazy eye that goes off in one direction. And it's this boys' school in the early 70s, and some kids get left behind at Christmas, and then they go, and then it's just him and this kid and the woman who cooks there. And it's a character thing, and it's really emotional and smart and funny, and it stuck with me after I saw it, and I highly recommend it. Very funny too, but when you're done with it, you just kind of go, man, nobody's making movies like that, character studies like that it's not going to change the world. It's not like, the terms of endearment, something heavy, but it's character stuff. I think it's based on a book too, but highly recommend it. Holdovers. Yes. Yeah.
I have a bad reaction to Paul Giamatti.
Really?
So, yeah.
Why? That's a sentence I've literally never heard uttered.
I think I can't remember the film, but it was a film my friend made with him.
Was it Big Fat Liar?
No. It was called Shoot 'Em Up. And
with Clive Owen.
With Clive Owen. And my friend made that movie. He did the effects on it, and he said it was supposed to be a Bugs Bunny cartoon. That was the whole concept of the movie. And that's why Clive Owen is constantly eating carrots.
Right.
And yeah, I guess Giamatti's doing his best Yosemite Sam in that, but it was painful. It was just nails on a chalkboard.
Wait. So wait a minute. So that one.
I don't think that I was a fan before, but I think this kind of sent me into the dark.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And now I can't bear him. Yeah.
Also,
he was in, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes.
Which he's great in. He is almost the best thing in that movie. Oh, come on. You can say that, Tim Roth did his best and was good, and Giamatti was doing exactly what he set out to do with it. He's a genre guy. Like, he loves.
He's a big fan. There was something recently where he said if his career stopped after that, he died happy.
No, he said his people said, "Are you sure you want to be in this?" And he said, "If you go back and tell them I don't want to be in this, I'm going to kill you all." Because he loved Planet of the Apes growing up. He loves sci-fi. He loves horror stuff. He's in John Dies at the End just because he wanted to work with Don Coscarelli. He's in that 30 Coins show on HBO now too. I hope he gets to do more genre stuff. And he executive produced Lodge 49, which I'm a huge fan of.
You know what? I'm not going to belittle your choice though. If it's a good movie.
No. Well, you should look. If you despise him, don't see the film.
I find him hard to watch. It's like there's actors that just pull you out of things. And he's one of them for me.
All right. Well, then I cannot recommend The Holdovers to you. For that alone.
The listener, Bill.
There's a warning on the poster actually that says, warning, if you don't like Paul Giamatti, don't see this film because he's in it. He's in every scene. You're probably not going to like it.
Yeah, what's Chevy Chase movies have a warning saying this contains Chevy Chase. Yeah. Just in case you're not a fan.
And no laughs. It contains Chevy Chase, but it contains no laughs. But sorry, go ahead. What's your next one?
Okay, this is my big one for the year because I think it's because it was most recent in my mind. I saw it in the theater, and that would be Godzilla Minus One.
Which I haven't seen.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you.
Don't spoil it.
And Bill, our listener, but it was basically a very loose remake of the original Godzilla. And I don't think I'm spoiling anything here because it's actually set at a slightly different time and it's a different series of characters, although you will recognize the large lizard in the film. It's haunting and beautiful. And you're to your point about the studios making stuff, lying about how much it costs. This was a $14 million movie, and it looked like a $200 million movie.
I've heard nothing but great things about it.
It's a film.
Yeah.
It's a film. It's actually a lot of thought went into this movie. And yes, it's about a big dinosaur, but is it?
Right.
And this is a return to form. I really, really enjoyed the film.
And it is kind of, without giving anything away, it does sort of have a connection to the original, correct?
It's kind of a remake.
I mean, besides the fact that Godzilla's in it. I mean,
yeah. I really don't know if it's supposed to be like a prequel to the original Godzilla or not.
Okay.
You know what? I guess it could be.
Well, that's what I had heard, that there are some direct connections, but maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Godzilla-ologist. I love Godzilla and I love the movies, but whenever I do a toy video on the YouTube channel, I get a lot of actually it's pronounced. It's like, yeah, you know what? I don't know that. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I like it. I like it a lot. I read the Crestwood book as a kid, cover to cover, and I've seen all the movies. But yeah, I'm gonna butcher names and dates and actors. It's
right.
It's not my passion. And
but where would we be without those guys to jump on?
Yeah, no, sure. They're the ones I ask questions when I'm writing something.
Actually.
Because I don't want to sound like, I don't want to sound foolish, but
I'm dying to see it.
You should see it in a theater. There's rumors of a black and white print going around, and I would hardly recommend that. Although this is a really beautiful film. It looks great in color too, and there's genuinely scary shit in this movie.
I love that it's doing so well. I love that it's getting critical response, because everyone kind of says the same thing. There wasn't a lot of money here, and it looks like a much bigger movie. And that's part of the. I mean, I think I talked about this last. I don't know if we did or not, but the creator, the guy who did Rogue One. Now, I thought the movie was fine. It didn't knock. I was really hoping it was going to knock me out, because I thought the trailer looked so good. But that was like a $70 million movie, and it looks like it was cost twice that amount. And he just planned it the right way and shot it the right way, and you wouldn't know the difference. And I don't know how it did, but you can certainly do this. You can certainly make these things for less. I got two more, but I'll go to this one. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. Oh my God. It's I've had guys like Matt Weinhold say it's their second favorite after Raiders. He loves it so much. It cost $300 million. It should have done better. It was never going to make that back, but it should have done better than it did. But it surprised me. I was going to see it no matter what. I didn't need another one, just like I didn't need a fourth one. No matter what, I was going to see this thing. But I love James Mangold, from Copland to Wolverine and Logan and other stuff he's done. I trust him when I see his name on stuff. And the Butterworth, Jez and his brother that co-wrote the script with him, I didn't know what it was about. I knew there was a prologue, takes place in the 40s, but I didn't really know where the story was going to. And I love going in not knowing anything. And it was really something. It was really, and it's not this, this sad man and his life is. None of them are like that. It's Han Solo older and Rick Deckard older, and just no other actor has ever done this. That's this iconic, with characters that are this iconic, to have the guts to revisit them and not pretend like they're T.J. Hooker jumping over cars and stuff. it's a great script. It's very smart. When you get to the climax, I literally had no idea where the thing was going. And Harrison Ford is fantastic in it. I mean, he's just, when he gets a hold of something that he digs and he loves, he's wonderful. And it's emotional and it's poignant. And the first 20 minutes is pure joy because it's like an homage to Spielberg, to Raiders. I can't recommend it enough. Oppenheimer and Holdovers and Indy, I think, are the best things I saw last year. But I loved it. I've seen it like 4 times now. I've watched it.
Really? Eh? Yeah. I didn't hear good things, although I was never, I was never that big a fan of that franchise in general. And I think that whether or not this was a good film is moot. I think it was kind of ruined by the previous movie.
No, see, the previous movie made $900 million.
I know, but
no, don't get me wrong. It's the previous movie, but this is again what happens with pop culture and with social media and stuff. Before you know it, it's the worst film ever made. Like it becomes everybody's video says, oh, let's just forget that one even happened. Like it's an abomination. They did this with X-Men 3 too. Now, X-Men 3 is not good. It is not the first 2 movies. Those were miracles. We have to remember how long ago this was. X-Men 3 is not very good, but it is not.
Pardon me? I have to leave.
It is not like, oh my God, like I'm not even going to name names of certain things where you just go, I can't believe I finished that. It was so bad, like everything about it. It's not even in these categories. And these are the same people that look at something like Knives Out and go, it's a brilliant twisty-turny Agatha Christie-ish, Dashiell Hammett kind of. Well, yeah, if you've never seen those kinds of movies before, you probably think this is like a nice twisty-turny Agatha Christie thing, but it's not, and it's not smart and it's not good. But and then it just starts to become like a trend, like everybody's saying the same thing. So Crystal Skull, first hour of that, hour and 15, is a great film. It's not close to the first one. None of them are, but it's fine. It kind of falls apart when you realize in the third act that you're in a studio, and it never recovers. But it is not like, I'm sorry, I know I've done this before on the show. It is not The Last Jedi. It's not even close to The Last Jedi. So yeah, there's a lot of baggage, but the bigger problem is the ageism that goes along with this too, where, and the length of time this took to make. But it was like people they've been getting their, sharpening their claws for 3 or 4 years, waiting for this thing to come out. And it's hard to find one video that the guy goes, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It did this, it did that. Everybody has the same opinion. It's a white man who's older and he's failed, and so in comes a woman and whatever. So those guys have already been against it well before it even comes out, and that's the bigger deck that's stacked against something like this, where you go, it's not going to have a chance if you enjoy this character and you dig this stuff, and everything is changing. I know people that think No Time to Die is one of the best Bond films ever made. And it couldn't be further from a Bond film. I think it's one of the worst. So everybody's got their thing. But I don't think that Crystal Skull, they wanted this thing to make $800 or $900 million. But actually, I'll even go better than that. I truly think this was an example of something that the only reason this happened was because Harrison Ford wanted to do one more film. Yeah. I truly think it was, otherwise, they wouldn't have kept pushing. He was the one that was pushing. And it's kind of a capper to go, who else has done this? Bring back your three best known characters and keep dignified at the same time, and really put the effort and care into these things. You, from where you sit, you're not into the character and you don't really, it's not your bag anyway. But when I talk to people that know the character and the previous stuff, it's a kind of consensus, like, this is a great film that more people should see and appreciate. And if you didn't, I'm glad I saw it in the theater, but I've watched it a bunch since, and beautifully directed too, just great. So yeah, so there's a lot of toxicity that it's kind of up against, a lot of these things.
Oh yeah, but everything has to face it now.
Mm-hmm.
I just, what was it that there's another Spider Universe movie coming out, and there's just,
oh, is it Madam Web? Is that the one?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know who any of these characters are.
Yeah,
and it's all female characters, which is not a bother to me. I mean, I liked Birds of Prey, so. But
I love Birds of Prey.
I love Birds of Prey, and we remember we took some flack for that too, because we both liked it one year.
I think it's one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated DC thing. It's rated R.
Yeah.
It's completely batshit.
Yeah.
And they just didn't care.
Yeah, and it showed, and it felt good.
Yeah.
This one, though, it just looks like more. It's not so much that I have a problem with a female-led movie. I just sit there and go, "Oh, great, that's going to get like all kinds of unwelcome attention." But it's also a Sony movie,
yes,
and it's like these are the Morbius people, so it's going to be hard to define who's like on what bandwagon here, because like the guys going boo. Some of them have a point.
That's the thing. Is like I looked at that. I watched that trailer. Just like there's another one for Kraven. They made a Kraven the Hunter movie.
I still think that's a fever dream. I don't think that's real.
And again, I just on paper I go, no, I don't. Why are you making a Kraven? Get him into a Spider-Man movie. Like, why are you doing Madam Web? Get her into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But if I saw either of those trailers and it was like, ooh, hey, this is pretty smart. Like, there's some nice back and forth. You're like, ooh, look at that shot. Like, this could be interesting. I would go, yeah, it's got Sony. It's got the same stuff attached to it, but that looked good. But you don't even get that in the trailer. Like, if you can't even make the trailer interesting.
No, they're dull.
Make you forget about the other garbage that came out. You're kind of doomed. And I'm sure it's going to be bad because Morbius was. I
think they should continue with Morbius. I think that's the only way to salvage this.
But didn't that make $1 billion? Didn't that make a ton of money, Morbius? Or am I wrong? No. I'm thinking of Venom. Sorry.
You're very, very wrong. Morbius was the film that got trolled by the studio.
Right. That's right.
They actually re-released it thinking that there was momentum.
Yes.
And it bombed again. Right. And this is the stuff that makes the internet awesome.
But it's
people were like, "Hey, Sony, if you do this a third time, we'll totally go."
It's so bad that as you're watching it, you kind of go, the only way this could be this bad, the way that the camera's set up, the way that people are talking, the lunacy of it, is if you start to convince yourself that they purposely set out to make something bad.
Yeah.
Because and I remember seeing a making of for what's the Carnage? There's like a Carnage Venom Carnage one, which is just by the time it's done, your head is just throbbing. Like, you just can't wait to get this movie over with. And it was like they're in a jail and it's Woody Harrelson and what's his name, and Andy Serkis is directing, and it's like a wooden table and everything's green. The bars are green, the table's green. There's a movie. I read a review of this. Kevin, he says, like, the worst thing, the most egregious thing about the Kevin Hart movie is that it never doesn't look like it's on a green screen. Like, every single scene, not just the big outdoor backgrounds or look, it's a big museum or whatever, just sitting on an airplane. You just get the sense there's 2 chairs there and the rest is all CGI, it's all green screen. And everything just kind of starts to look like that. All of the Sony stuff just looks like it's just a CGI fest. There's nobody, when I think about Tom Hardy, like how much were you on set? Were you really on set that much? Were you like and you see a scene where he goes into a 7-Eleven to get something, you're like, okay, there's a day. Like, what else were you doing on this? It's just, so, if something is, as the character might be, if I saw a trailer that intrigued me,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, this could be something. I'm gonna go with it. But they're just dead on arrival, I think, that stuff, you know.
It's starting to feel just like monthly comics can, which is, you know, the we all have memories of good stories.
Right.
But there's so many, you know, there's so many months that were just little, like they're just not quite the same every month. You know, you don't have milestone stories, you have filler stories.
Right.
And, you know, I think movies can't do that. They need to be, you know, interesting every time, and that's where comic fans and movie fans get into fights.
Or if you're doing something like you know, Morbius, for example, let's say, that's your chance to go, you know, this one we're going to make like a horror film. Like,
yeah.
This is going to be our Marvel horror film. This will be let's do, you know, I don't know, I'm making it up now, but like a Western type, like with the lesser known characters.
Yeah.
You're better off trying to put some kind of spin on it that's unique,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise they all just start to look the same. And that's what Marvel was very, very good at. That Captain America First Avenger is very different than Winter Soldier, is way different than Civil War. They, you know, and Thor, the original one, is almost Shakespearean, and, you know, they were able to get directors and writers to give different tones to things, and that's what kept it interesting. All this stuff just kind of starts to look the same.
Yeah,
but I don't know why we're talking about more. I don't know why you want to see Madam Web so bad. I don't know why you started.
I really, really don't. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, what was the one? Did you just do one?
No, I'm done. You had
okay,
two.
I'm just gonna I'll throw one more in then.
Sure.
And I did this in a previous episode. Oh God, was it When Evil? Where did I write? Where Evil Lurks. I mentioned this, I think, toward the Halloween stuff we did, I think, maybe.
Oh, okay.
From Spain or Venezuela.
Oh, I do remember you mentioning this. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, not something I want to revisit anytime soon because it is heavy.
Feel good movie of the year.
One of the most impressive horror films I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
So there you go. Run out and buy all those DVDs.
That's right.
Buy physical media, people.
And send us copies
want to move
of
on
each.
to TV?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hit me.
And then, okay, I did watch quite a few television programs this year. One of the ones that surprised me was the Twisted Metal TV show from Paramount Plus. I got free Paramount Plus thanks to a McDonald's promotion. And
Twisted Metal?
It's based on a video game I've never played.
Okay.
And maybe, you know, I don't know. I've never played the game. I have no idea. But this was a post-apocalyptic comedy sci-fi show.
Oh.
With some car stuff in it, but not overpowering. With a fantastic cast that included Anthony Mackie is the lead, and
what?
he's a pretty likable dude.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I did see a trailer for this. It's on Paramount Plus?
Yeah, well, here it is. I don't know where it goes. You know,
I don't know if it's on Paramount here, because I would have jumped on that.
I think it's a Peacock show in your.
Oh yeah, good old Peacock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a riot. I really enjoyed it, and they're half-an-hour shows, and it you know, it's so basically the whole season is like a 2.5-hour movie. And it went pretty good. Went pretty fast.
Is it like comedic action kind of?
Oh yeah, it's totally tongue in cheek. And they got like Thomas Hayden Church. What's her name? Neve Campbell's in it.
Oh wow.
She's not in it a lot. And I forget the actress's name, but she's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And she's
Rashida? Not Rashida.
No, the rather acidic detective.
She got blue eyes, like pretty blue eyes and shoulder-length hair. I can't think of it. Italian name?
No, I think you're thinking of Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah, no, not Chelsea Peretti. No, the one I can't remember her name, but she's actually got great comedy chops.
Okay, Twisted Metal. I'll try to find. I mean, if it's on Peacock, I can't see it. But
yeah, it was a good laugh.
Okay.
Oh yeah, her name is Stephanie Beatrice. That's her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll look for that. I'm gonna start with, again, no particular order. Loki season 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, it just got better and better and better as it went on. And when Marvel first announced the TV stuff, I really admired what they were doing with those first 3 shows, because hopefully you'd find something to like in one of those shows. But you certainly couldn't argue that they looked anything like each other. They're completely.
No, they definitely were going for different vibes. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I think of the 3, I think I went for I think I might have enjoyed Loki the most, then Falcon and the Snowman, and with Sean Penn and Timothy Hutton.
I was just gonna say, this is not America.
This is not sha-la-la-la-la. And then I'd say WandaVision, even though I thought it was fine, it was good, but just of the 3. But where they went with the second season, and I don't know if have you seen the second season?
No, I never got through the first. Here's my Marvel thing. I did finish WandaVision. I enjoyed it. I did like Falcon and the Winter Snowman, and I tapped out of Loki, and I tapped out of Hawkeye, and I don't think I've picked up anything else.
Well, I would recommend finishing Loki and getting to the next one, because they do again, it's, I don't want to give too much away, but like, I remember talking to Alex like every few episodes of Ahsoka or something like that. And again, I'll just say again, I'm not going to sit here and dissect these things too much, but I will watch any Star Wars stuff they give us. I'll give anything a try, but I'm not going to embrace all of it and just, make excuses and so on. Same with Doctor Who and whatever it might be. Ahsoka is, without putting too fine a point on it, it's extraordinary to me, the amount of screen time, the amount of episodes, and how little happened in the entire thing. I'm not just talking about action or events. I'm talking about even dialogue between characters. Just like, if someone could be in a scene and punch themselves in the face, you wouldn't be shocked if the person next to them never went, "Hey, why'd you punch yourself in the face?" It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then it finished. And then a few nights later was the first episode of season 2 of Loki. And Alex and I were talking again, and he's like, why are we so impressed with this? Why are we liking this so much? What is it? I said, because so much was happening in that first episode already. And there's a moment about 10 minutes into the first episode where they're sort of having the same conversation in 2 different moments in time in the same room, and there was more imagination and better writing and more chutzpah in that scene than 8 episodes of Ahsoka, and it just kept getting better. I've never been a fan of what's his name, Jonathan, the guy that just got fired, Jonathan.
Oh, the Loki guy, or the Kang guy.
The Kang guy, yes. I'm not a fan of his. I don't think he's a very good actor. People seem to love him and thought, man, he's kind of insufferable in the second season, I think. It's my 2 cents. But Ke Huy Quan is in it, and he's a new character that shows up, and the twisty turniness of the timelines and what they're kind of doing with it and where they go, by the time you get to the end, it all ties up in a neat bow, and not a lot of shows can do that. And I just was so impressed with it. And Tom Hiddleston, who I know he's a big sex symbol and everybody loves Loki and everything, but I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is with that character, and how by the time you get to the end of season 2, this is not the same character we met, in Thor, like the stuff he's gone through, and Beautifully written, just very, very good. And two of the guys that have directed quite a few episodes of those guys I've mentioned before that made what was the movie I recommended to you? One of them's called Synchronic with Anthony Mackie, which was okay, but The Endless. Remember I talked about the movie called The Endless?
Oh yeah.
Where two brothers go back out to the cult that they got.
Yeah, okay, I do remember that. I think my wife has seen that film.
Really great movie, and those guys have a hand in sort of where Loki was going. So
that's good.
Yeah, I really dug it. And again, this is Secret Invasion. I thought was a complete and utter waste of time.
Oh, I never watched it.
Just like unbearable.
That's the other thing is like Marvel is pulling out the small guns.
Well, I think in that case, in the case of Secret Invasion, you go, this needs to be epic. Like this needs to be like, the Winds of War or something. And if that's not what you're going to do with this story, you're it's a mistake. And you just, all of it, you just felt like there weren't enough bodies in the room or there wasn't enough scope, and it was bad,
Yeah.
But Loki stands out for me. So I
did actually watch all of She-Hulk too, because I found it kind of a palate cleansing show.
Well, She-Hulk, again, I thought She-Hulk was fine. I had nothing,
a silly show.
Yeah, but
I like silly things, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not really attached to the character in any way, and I don't know the comic that well, but it was fine. I just like if they never made more, I don't care. But it was.
No, I don't care either. But I did kind of like it. It wasn't an abomination. It had its minutes, and I'm sorry there wasn't big monster fights.
Yeah, I don't know why that gets. I don't know why that gets such a hard time, because it is a change of pace. It is like you say, it is a palate cleanser.
It was like a fourth wall breaking show.
Yeah, it did what the comic did.
Yeah, and it's doing what the comic did, and that comic was silly at times, and I've had people try to argue it to me, and it's like I just sometimes don't think I operate on the same wavelength as people in terms of like what's really important to them.
Yeah. I mean, I did, I got hung up on the CGI, honestly. That
it was bad.
It was bad, and that you talk about getting pulled out of something, that pulled me out. And I would at moments I think, God, I can go back and watch, the Two Towers, and Gollum still holds up from 2001. Yeah. How are we this far ahead, and this is the best you're giving me, and putting her in daylight in an office? But having said that, that's not where I check out and go, forget it. I'm not going to bother with the rest of it. It's like, it's a 9-foot tall green woman. Get over it. This is what, how else would you do it? I don't know. But that's all I got for that. The other one I'd say, I talked about this on an episode, a couple episodes ago, was a show called Bodies, which I've mentioned before on Netflix. Really enjoyed it. 8 episodes or 10 episodes. 2023, police detective comes around a corner in an alleyway. There's a dead body on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Missing his left eye, no bullet markings on his left arm. And then you go back to 1890, and then back up to 1941, and then forward to 2053. And throughout the show, you're watching 4 detectives in 4 different timelines. The same body shows up in the same alley. And it's, again, really twisty-turny and weird and outrageous, and it pulls it together by the end. It's hard to find stuff like that and be surprised. So I recommend that. It's on Netflix.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've got another one on Netflix, which is House of Usher.
Okay, go ahead. You go. Because what I'm going to say is I saw the first one. What was the very first one?
The House of Usher miniseries.
No. The first. What's his name? Flanagan has been doing these series like.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with his work.
Oh, okay. So he did the Haunting of Hill House. That was it. The Haunting of Hill House was the first one, and I enjoyed that. And then I did the second one, which was
The Haunting of Bly Manor or something?
Bly Manor, yes.
Yeah. I'm just looking him up because I didn't know much about him.
I didn't finish it because I started to kind of lose interest. And then I saw the one called what's the one with the priest and the
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass, which I thought was quite good.
Actually, yeah, my wife was a big fan of that one.
I liked it. But I started watching this one, and I think I got like an episode and a half in, and I went, I think this is going to be one of these investments that by the end of it, I'm going to keep waiting for something good to happen and maybe not be satisfied. So I did. But if you recommend it, and if you think it's worth diving into, I will watch it.
I dove into it with the wife. I was not watching it, so I don't think I've seen it all. But I was glued to the latter parts that I watched, which was
okay.
There was 3 or 4 different installments I checked out, and I couldn't get over how a good Bruce Greenwood was in this, and especially after I found out that he was actually not there, because the Frank Langella got fired midway through the show.
Oh, real? Oh, so Greenwood is just like CGI'd in?
Yeah, there's a lot of Bruce Greenwood.
No.
His scenes with Carl Lumbly, a lot of them he's not there.
Oh my God, because he's the reason. Like, I'll watch him in anything. I just think that guy is just solid gold in everything.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah.
I did not know that. I remember the Langella thing. That's right. So this was the show.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll go back to that. I'll try that. Let's see.
Should I have a little bell that I've converted you?
Does it? Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
That could do it. Some Bruce Greenwood, acting chops. Are we allowed to say if we watch something that has already been on and we rewatched it?
Right.
Or does it have to be new?
I guess it doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't have to be new.
Well, I'll give you that one, but I'll give you one before it because this is about as least genre as anything on this list. More so, The Bear.
The show with Lip.
Yeah, I'm very late to it because I saw some of the first season and then just lost track. But now I've kind of devoured, no pun intended, both seasons, and great show. Not what I originally thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be way too heavy, but it's not. And amazing needle drops every episode. Just the music supervisor is fantastic. But the other thing I did and this does kind of tie into 2023. Not that I was sitting around waiting for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Vengeance, or whatever it's called. Not that I was waiting with bated breath for that to hit, but
some of us call it A New Hope.
I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer and I thought, I know exactly what this is going to be.
Have I seen that movie before?
I know exactly what this
is
going
still, to be. It's but to me, those kind of movies are like McDonald's cheeseburgers. They're that way.
No,
you go, I know what that tastes like. And
you are doing a disservice to McDonald's cheeseburgers, my friend, because yes, there's cheese and then there's like complete incompetence, like if you took the slow motion out of that movie, it would be an hour and an hour. Somebody in a review counted the number of slow-mo sequences, and it was like 70 something. It was like every 5 minutes or something.
You know what I meant to listen for and forgot to was like that Middle Eastern, like that Wonder Woman music that he uses all the time, where it's like it's really grating in his Snyder cut.
Well, there's always that like, oh,
yeah,
like some kind of chorus.
Yeah, it's like this.
Yes.
Like it's Xena warrior princess type music.
Yes.
That had to be like Gal Gadot could say, "I'm gonna have some coffee," and they're like, and it was very like beating me over the head during that Snyder cut, and I don't know. I guess I kind of was probably playing a phone game while I watched Rebel Moon. I can't remember.
I was too. I was, looking at my phone, writing my memoirs, painting my nails. I was doing everything I could to not give it myself.
By the way, your taxes are done.
But what it did was, this was around the holidays. I just, you ever have that sometimes, like if you're into a director or an artist or a writer, somebody where it gets to a point where you're looking at the new work and you just go, was I wrong all this time? Like, do I need to go back and listen to the early albums? Because what is going on? So I put in Watchmen, and there's 3 different cuts of Watchmen, and I put in the one that's the mega cut that has the animation woven in and everything. And I will, with my dying breath, I will always stand by that movie. I think he achieved the impossible in that film. I love it more every time I see it. Flaws and all, I think it is an extraordinary piece of work. It gets more appreciated as the years go on. But I put it on because I went, I can't believe this is the same guy. I mean, I know there's some slow-mo in this, and there's some, ridiculous ultra violence or whatever, but it's subdued compared to what he did with the DC stuff when he got a hold of it. But anyway, having done that, I immediately put on the HBO Watchmen series again.
That's something I've flirted with doing, but it's still too fresh in the mind.
It is so freaking good. So good. So that was a palate cleanser to go, okay, I'm just going to watch the HBO thing again. And I'm still catching new little things.
Yeah, that was better than it deserved to be.
It's just incredible. Just like, can't believe it happened, and it was as good as it was. So yeah, those are mine. Those are
okay.
mine.
I got one more, and you may have seen it. I liked the Luthor TV movie. Luthor Fallen Son.
With Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
He's the villain. He's putting bombs on people all over London. It's insane, that movie. Now that to me is like an homage to a type of 80s, bombastic kind of action film, because it's crazy, that movie. Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
I always liked the Luthor television show.
Yeah, I've seen the show.
With criminal, like, it's criminally unseen.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that show, and that movie was a nice surprise, actually.
Yeah, it's just bonkers. I mean, just where it goes, and by the time you get to the climax, you're like, is this like science fiction now? Like, what? It's crazy. It puts everything in but the kitchen sink, kind of. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Okay, what about I don't know, you want to do books or toys or
something? Yeah, actually, why don't we do I don't have much, by the way, of books, but I did pick up a couple of box sets and things, if you want to go through that.
Okay, hit me.
Yeah, okay. I've mentioned the Magic, Myth, and Mutilation one, the Michael Murphy set in the What We're Watching, so I'm not going to go into that one. But this company, Indicator, was kind of off my radar, and they had also made a box set of something I've always wanted to check out, which is called From Hollywood to Heaven, The Lost and Saved Films of the Ormond Family. And what this is, and this is a family that was always involved in entertainment. I believe the wife was a successful singer and actress, and the husband was I think a magician at one point, or a hypnotist. They ended up making exploitation films.
Okay.
And they're kind of forgettable exploitation films. I actually don't really like those films, but what is fascinating to me is they had an accident, I think in the late 60s, and they very sincerely converted to Christianity. Not in a snarky way. They were hardcore, and they decided to make films for religious reasons. And
okay.
But, and this is the part that's kind of endearing about these films, and I'm not there to mock religion. I'm there to be amused at their style, because they were still exploitation filmmakers. So there's shocking crap in these movies.
Oh, like violence, like showing how bad the world is.
Yeah. The first movie I popped on had communists coming and beheading children.
That's happened.
And it's all. The other thing it's wonderful about them is that they're all like they're all just parishioners acting. So when they go to Bible scenes, everyone's got kind of like a Louisiana accent in Jerusalem, But and I was really enjoying it. But the thing I did notice about it is that there's quite a few of them in the box set that are just sincere Christian movies that aren't like necessarily all that shocking. They're low budget, but they're not quite like there's nothing to hang your hat on. There's no, if the devil doesn't appear in this, it's not as interesting and exciting. But man, the stuff that their earlier stuff is kind of cuckoo, and even the stuff they do that's more straightforward has some crazy visuals in it, and that's more like they basically made a box set for the 1,000 people in the world, and I'm being generous, who want to sit through these movies, and I'm just part of that curious club, I guess.
That's Indicator, man. That's who they cater to. They're really.
I couldn't. When I saw that, I was just like, I didn't know this was a thing. Like I read about these movies in Psychotronic magazine, probably like in my dorm room. So it's been a while.
So this is the first time you've seen any of these?
Yeah. In fact, yes. I haven't thought of them in a long time, but I remember reading about them and going, those sound bananas, but how do I find them?
Yeah.
And I never thought to go to YouTube. A couple of them are on YouTube. I found out after I bought the box set. But they're so nuts.
Fun.
And if any money goes back to the Armand family on this, I think they're dead, but I think their son's still alive, and I think he's he's still actively quite religious.
So can you see any of these? Are they on YouTube, or there's
some? Yeah, there's a couple. I think the Burning Hell is on YouTube, and if footmen bother you, what will horses do? Something like that.
These are a Bob Dylan album.
I think it's a Bible quote, but it's not one that a lot of I think the guy who wrote the film, I think his last name was like Perkle or something like that. He might have thought people were more familiar with that quote than they really are, because I had to look it up, but it has this sort of insistence upon itself, that he would think most people would get this. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But that is a bananas box set, and it's full of extras.
Wow.
And one of the things about any of these extras is I view these kind of things as they have to guide you through the filmmaker. And if there's no kind of extras that talk more about the filmmaker and their life, then it's really not a good narrative thread through the box set, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Oh no, totally it does. I got
that was the Al Adamson one that was it Severin or Vinegar Syndrome, man? I can't remember. I think it's Severin. It was perfect because it had a wonderful documentary in the middle of it that just told you everything you needed to know about the guy, and now go dig through his films.
I saw the documentary eventually when it was streaming. Great documentary.
Fantastic. Yeah. And while I don't expect them all to have something of that quality, it's really nice to see interviews and that sort of stuff, just so you get a feel of who these people were.
Yeah, I gotta say, speaking of DVDs, even the Watchmen HBO series, it came out on a 3 DVD set, so 3 episodes each DVD, and each one of them has upwards of 40 minutes of extras, from the anatomy of a fight scene, to tell me about this character, to even just a few years ago in 2019, this was a standard thing. And now most DVDs that come out, unless it's a cult film or it's Arrow or someone like that, studio type things, you used to get, I mean, even like, some of the older Marvel stuff, I mean, you're just loaded with extras, loaded with interviews. And
yeah, well, BBC is the king of that with Doctor.
BBC, yeah. But now the studios, you're lucky if you get 4 extras that are like 2-minute little, bumpers. Like, this movie's about lots of action and blah, 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 blah. There's no behind the scenes stuff. There's no nothing. It's like they fired all those people. But I did I found a Region 2 copy of the Arrow DVD set of The Lighthouse, the Robert Eggers film with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Oh, that was a really, really hard to watch movie, eh?
It's really something. Yeah, you just got to go in and go, I don't care what it's about. I don't know, but I'm just going to enjoy the ride. And but
they look like they stink.
Yeah, I got it at Amoeba. It was like $12, like a $40 set, and it's got loads of extras and interviews and a poster and postcards and everything. But Arrow, I love what they do, that the way they the effort they
I wish I liked more of the titles that they put out.
No, you're definitely more Vinegar Syndrome and
Zephyr.
Yeah, that's right up your street.
And Code Red, and dude, it's nice to discover new box sets thanks to Indicator. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was Vinegar Syndrome put out a really dandy Paul Naschy Werewolf and the Vampire Woman, which is his real classic. And it was,
No, I'm not. No. I am not making fun. I admire the passion you have for Paul Naschy. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
I know you are one of his biggest fans, so I love it. Please continue. I'm not making fun. I promise. I love your passion.
No, and this is his, his Citizen Kane and
his Cleopatra.
Yeah. And what really, it really not his Cleopatra, but yeah, it.
Now, have you never seen it? Is that what you said? You'd never seen that
one? Oh no, oh god.
Oh, okay. It was just a new edition that came out.
It's just what really bothered me about it was I went into my stash and I realized that I don't have a good copy of this anywhere. And it wasn't on anything else that has been put out. Like Naschy films, either they're on prestigious Blu-rays or they're on the worst DVD. That's a VHS rip. With and the features are interactive menu,
right?
I have a lot of those. And what was it the other day? I bought Dr. Jekyll Meets the Wolfman, which is another one of his things, but it doesn't come out until this month. But I decided I think I have that on DVD, and the DVD copy I have is oh my god, did you find this in the dumpster of a dollar store? The print of the movie was horrible. I think the credits are missing. And then and it was okay, I sold that copy at my little antique mall booth, but it was wow, the you're getting these prestigious versions of the films that never have been given any sort of respectful treatment before. You know what I mean? This isn't like the
restoration remastered.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like if they just keep shoving the Planet of the Apes films out there or Godzilla films. Because there's such a history of box sets and different things. These are movies where it's okay, I bought a $40 Blu-ray of this. Oh, the last one cost me $2.88.
Right.
But it totally looked like it did.
Like that, it was like when you could get It's a Wonderful Life for 99 cents when you went to
a
drugstore.
or what was it, like the Fleischer Superman cartoon?
The Fleischer Superman cartoons, Wonderful Life, and like Way Out West, Laurel and Hardy or something.
There's something else. Oh, Godzilla versus Megalon for years.
Yeah,
was part of that.
And I think The Third Man too. I seem to recall having that on a shitty VHS, like no known company, like Good Times or something. Like that was a thing you could just get for a couple of bucks.
I had this obsession with a Burt Reynolds movie that Shark.
Sharky's Machine?
No, Shark. Which is a retitled. What it is, it was like a late '60s movie he did, and
is he a cop?
No, he's a jewel thief or something. It's a movie about
gotta find this.
Thieves. I think it's like late '60s. Anyways, there's a shark involved, and so the film is forgotten for the most part, but I think it entered public domain at some point. And what happened was, when there was a home video boom, everybody had a different rendition of Shark, and there wasn't. First of all, I don't think it was called Shark. I think they changed that name somewhere along the line to sell it because of Jaws.
Great White,
yeah, something like that. And so every different VHS copy had different artwork, and it ranged from like a child drew it to like a picture of Burt Reynolds from Evening Shade and the Jaws poster heavily airbrushed.
Awesome.
Right. So I became kind of upset, like, because I was always into those video bins looking for weird stuff. And I remember, like, I started to get a mental catalog of all the different versions of this film. And at one point, I actually did make, like, a collage of them on my computer, because I thought it was, like, it's just one of those, like, weird obsessions I have.
Yeah, that's a coffee table book right there. I want to do a coffee table book of all the most egregious, like ridiculous cover art for video boxes. And you know, when it started to kind of turn in the early 90s, where you'd see, like, you knew that someone's head was pasted on someone else's body, and
yeah. And you usually cite the other movie posters they swiped that from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you got?
Yeah, that's it for me and my.
That's it for you.
My physical media.
Yeah, that's it. I picked up, like I said, a few toys here and there, like some of the Indiana Jones ones I thought were cool. And
okay, well, no, I got best toys.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I just was getting out of that category. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is NECA made a Tom Atkins figure from Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. They did not make it easy to get, which is par for the course with Tom Atkins action figures. But I did it. My wife and I love Halloween 3 so much that I actually went and bought this figure, and I got a Tom Atkins autograph.
Oh, nice. He seems like
even though I've walked by him several times at shows before.
Did you know that? I don't know if you've ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the Robert Downey Jr.
But it was a million years ago. Yeah, it's a Shane Black movie, right?
Yeah, it's a goddamn perfect movie. It's a perfect double bill with The Nice Guys. But
yeah, The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys is almost like The Nice Guys is easy to follow compared to. I mean, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so dense, what he's doing with that, and the story within a movie, within a book kind of thing. It's incredible. But there's a moment where Downey's meeting up with Kilmer again, and Kilmer's walking through a club, and he makes some smart ass comment. Somebody tries to throw a glass at him, and then he comes up to Downey and says, "All right, you've got 30 seconds of my time. Thrill me." And it's I forgot way back when that Shane Black, I think, co-wrote or worked with what's his name, who did Night of the Creeps and Monster Squad, that they were old friends, and that was a thing that Tom Atkins said in Night of the Creeps every time. All right, thrill me. And I was like, he's winking to Fred Decker with that, with the Atkins character. Yeah.
I did just finally buy and watch Night of the Creeps this year.
Oh,
I had never seen it, and I bought it just because I thought, well, I don't know where to find a copy of this, and at least I could sell the Blu-ray after. I'm sure somebody would want it for half price, but I kind of get why. I wish I'd seen that as a teen, because it was, it's a bit of a wink of a camera.
Yeah, it's a one-off. It's an oddity. Yeah, it's an oddity. Okay, so that one, I guess I'd say the Indiana Jones ones, and just to toot our horn again, we put out a set of glow-in-the-dark Twilight Zone figures, the same as before. Put those out for Comic-Con, and brand new Mystic Seer prop replica. We did amusement park one, theme park one, and the black and white one again with Shatner signature. So I was very happy to have those come out.
That's wonderful.
The only other thing I got super cheap a long time ago, there was some mega set. The Shop Disney site that has a lot of exclusive stuff that's not anywhere else, but maybe the park or something. They have this cool play set. I don't know if I talked about it before, but it's a Spider-Man play set. It's like a little 4-inch figure kind of Spider-Man, and then that's posable with magnets on its hands and feet. You can like flip it on this web that it's on, and it'll stick to the metal wall of this little city. And it comes with a Green Goblin that's more of just like a PVC, not posable. And it comes with the little Spider Buggy, like the Mego one, like the old school Spider Buggy from the 70s.
Yeah, I don't know why Spider-Man needs a car, but I'd buy them.
You know what? It says on the box, he's got a bad stomach. Parentheses. Like the adventure of Spider-Man with a bad stomach, and he doesn't want to swing around, so he gets the car out.
A sour tummy.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to throw it away, since you think suddenly it does seem ridiculous that Spider-Man should have a car. I'm just going to.
I'm glad I could fill your heart with shame.
I'm going to bring it to Toys for Tots for next year.
That's right. You're very early.
The only other thing, I mean, book-wise, I could throw in the Alan Partridge book, Big Beacon, because I was lucky to get a signed copy. Signed by Alan.
Didn't Garth Marenghi do a book this year, or was that last year?
He did a new one this year. I didn't get that one. I got the one from last year, which I didn't love. I really liked it, but I didn't love it. It was very good, but so I've got Marenghi and Alan Partridge signed copies on the shelf.
The Garth Marenghi guy, I can't believe he isn't more well known.
I know. I think he's very particular about what he does, but you see him show up in, like he showed up in the Year of the Rabbit. He's in there in an episode, but he's just brilliant. He's so good.
Yeah, I just wonder how he eats.
Yeah, I wonder how a lot of people eat. So there you go. Did you have anything else that you wanted to throw?
Oh yeah, toy-wise, I had a good year. I was going to talk about 3 other figures. White Elephant Toys is my friend Jason, fellow that I'm doing the Lincoln Monsters with, along with a third guy, Frank Wojo. He reproduced the Super Joes from the old Hasbro Super Joes, but he did a fantastic job, and the toy is actually much better than the one that came out in the 70s. It's sturdier. Just a fantastic job of a figure, and he's unfortunately having to change the name because of Hasbro being kind of bigger than him. But I said to him, and I believe it, I said, you've already made the figure. No one else is going to make this stuff. And whatever you call it, you could call it poop poop. People will buy it.
Yeah.
And P.S. Don't call it poop poop.
It's copyrighted.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Patent pending on poop poop. But yeah, that was a fabulous figure. Mego, which is usually on my list, produced an Alice Cooper figure that I was very, very fond of this year.
Oh, nice.
Big fan of Alice Cooper. Didn't like the outfit, but it is an accurate modern outfit he would wear. And, I'm just more of a classic Alice, but I solved that by buying a Mego Hannibal Lecter. and taking the straight
nice
that, and then giving my daughter the Hannibal Lecter to give to a friend. And the last, yeah, I don't care much for that. And the last thing would be Super 7 did 3 black hole action figures, Maximilian,
yes,
and Bob, and Vincent. They were fantastic. And while I would hardly recommend against doing any of the cast of the black hole. I do think a second wave could include the Sentry robot and Star and the humanoid. No toy collector has a humanoid. They're very rare. And, I think it's a license to print money for the company. I think there's life in that line that they could, do exactly one more wave of those. And I hope they do.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot going on kind of up and down with Super 7 these days. They really seem to be spreading themselves super thin with stuff. They've got so many licenses. I know they just dropped Disney, which means they dropped The Simpsons. So that's done. That stuff never really got off the ground.
The Black Hole is Disney, though.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of that. I forgot it is Disney. Yeah, so maybe they have something in the pipeline.
I thought they didn't have classic Disney. I thought they were not going to do. I think they were doing Disney characters like Incredibles and such.
Yeah, they were. Well, they were doing. I think all of that stuff, The Simpsons and I think they're kind of parting ways with Disney or Disney. I don't know why exactly, but I mean, they put. Every time I turn around, it's like, oh, Fraggle Rock, Peanuts, Sesame Street. Like, it's a lot to stuff to collect. And I know it's weird because it's like something will come, like the 5 POA, G.I. Joe type things. And, and then I think now they're coming, I don't know, Hasbro's now doing like the old school ones with superposability. Like they got a whole new wave coming or something. Or I just saw that they were doing Dungeons and Dragons. And I thought they were doing 4-inch Dungeons and Dragons figures because NECA put out these D&D figures emulating the LJN line from the 80s. So the what's his name? Dark, what's he called? Dark Lord or Darkhold or something? The guy.
Oh,
Warduke, the knight, that little troll dude who was in like Wave 2 or something. And those are really cool.
I had those figures as a kid. Yeah,
I did too. And the NECA ones are amazing. But then along comes I think was it Hasbro or Mattel? Who did the D&D animated line that came out?
I think it was Hasbro who did that.
Hasbro.
Because it was in those blank boxes.
That was one of those lines that we'd heard about for decades. Like, why doesn't somebody do the D&D animated? And I thought it was going to explode. I thought this is the one everyone's been waiting for, and they can't give it away. So to do
that shocked me, to be perfectly honest.
A whole new line, which I thought was like, okay, they're doing 4-inch animated D&D. Okay, well the other ones didn't get. Now I'm finding out they're the ultimate ones that are like $55.
Yeah,
I can't get my head around it. There's not enough of a fan base in the world for most of this stuff. But I love the card art on the black hole ones, and maybe they got 3 more in the pipeline because it would make sense.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, I don't know what to say.
And I would buy an Yvette Mimieux.
Why?
And
you can get those cheaper vintage.
And you can kick up the sculpts a little bit, and
I have a feeling they probably don't have those likenesses, and then good, because I personally scored at the end of the year with a vintage Charlie Pizer on a Canadian card, which nice. Yeah, I was excited, but it's woohoo, it's
just get someone to make the gun.
White guys in the same suit.
You got contacts. Get the gun made. That's all I care about.
I'd like to do that, but I don't have that kind of power.
I want the black hole gun to come out before I die.
I tried in my awkward elevator exchange with Brian Flynn at Power Gun.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But I just never got to gun.
Yeah, you said I know Jason Lynch. He's like, yeah, okay.
And then what I did was I stopped the elevator, jumped out, and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pass gas right before you get out of the elevator.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Speaking of passing gas, I got a dog here that's been crossing his legs for about 30 minutes, looking at me going, "What are you doing?"
So I better go see what she's up to. But this has been a blast.
Yeah, good stuff.
And I think what we should do, Jason, is we should do another installment of busted TV pilots.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think that was one of our most popular episodes last year.
Oh, cool. I love doing the audio commentary stuff. It's great.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this is one where we just both watch a pilot and then report back.
Oh yeah.
And I think we should pick two doozies and go for it again.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Heil Honey, I'm Home.
Oh, good. That'll be our best episode ever.
Yeah, that was the show that actually happened. Got made.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to sit through that?
Yes. Even as satire, you go, what could anybody have possibly been thinking?
Yeah. What is the end game here?
Yeah.
To normalize Hitler.
It's so. But anytime I've ever told, you always get the same reaction. Like, that didn't happen. That's not a thing. Like, no, it's a thing. It happened. It really happened.
You know what's funny is I actually, one of my neighbors, found some YouTube clip and tagged me in it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's from a Turkish movie, blah blah blah. And he actually came up to me recently, like at a party, and said, I can't believe you knew what that was. And it's like, yeah, the world's crazy.
Did you recognize the clip?
No, but just that, like, he just couldn't get over that I knew what that was. And I was like, yeah, if you just like look outside, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
And
we do remember a lot of weird stuff, so that helps.
Yeah, and it's just like, sorry, but I'm like, I am a moth to that porch light.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I hope that people have learned something from this, and maybe we've enlightened your lives with a few choices of our best of 23.
Yeah, I hope we've changed minds and hearts.
Yes, it's the least we can ask for.
Mm-hmm. This episode was paid for by Paul Giamatti.
I do like the list.
Try, Brian.
Very different list. It'd be boring if we came to this with the same.
I don't even think we had a single commonality this year.
The only one was Guardians 3.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, we both had that on our list, but that's what makes it fun.
We both didn't have religious scare films.
No. Oddly enough, I didn't get around to that last year.
That's because you're not one of the 1,000.
Right. They sold out.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
Thanks,
everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Be safe.